This is the MIWA DS wafer lock. I have two formats. One I'll pick and gut since it's easy to do, and the other one's just an example of like some of the crazy Japanese formats you can get. This guy is a lot bigger. In order to gut it, there's a snap ring way in there and stuff. It's very difficult. I just never attempted it until I saw one of them. That was this small format that's a lot easier to gut. So you'll notice this one's keyway to the right, or the little notch to the right. This one's to the left. This can actually be locked in either direction, so it does not matter. Locks up in both ways. It's a double-sided wafer lock. So because it's a wafer lock, I'm going to use a flat hook just so I have something easy to push on the wafers with, and then a 1.5 millimeter tensioner. I'll put the top of the keyway here. You'll notice there's a little bit of play to start with, but that's just the wafer's default amount of play inside of the housing. We'll show it later. You'll notice too, we start kind of at the W when we tension. As we pick, you get more and more core movement until it finally falls open. So you'll see that as we go. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see there's already a decent amount of core movement. Applying, fairly light tension when I push a wafer and moderate tension as I move through the stack of them to try to find binders. Another one. As you can see, we're pretty solidly into the A now. Still one very obviously loose, but wafer that hasn't bound yet. Be careful not to overset any of them. Counter rotation, if you feel it, that's you trying to force a wafer. Only forward progress should be made. Like that. As you can see, we've made our way into the A pretty healthily now. Test each wafer as I go. And we're open. So that's the MIWA DS. We'll go ahead. You can see it's pretty loose. Can be rotated pretty easily now. So we'll go ahead and lock it up and then gut this format. So this guy's got a little cartridge that can pop off. If I get that autofocus back on, we're going to go ahead. I'll put them in the tray, even though there's really not pieces to look at, but kind of align it in a way that makes it easier for people to see. So if I remember right, there's two ways I can do this. One of them's a little bit mean, and this one I think is a little easier. Just popping this cap off. Once it's off, you can see the wafer stack. So the play comes from the fact that there's these, these wafers are cut. You can see there's varying thicknesses, which is why you can get so much rotation in it as you go. Some of them are wider and some of them are narrower. I believe on some formats you can get ones that are serrated even. You can see in this particular one I have 3 going one way and 3 going the other. This guy can be further gutted, but it's not easy to do and not easy to reassemble, so we're just going to do this partial gut here. There's some, I think if I remember right, this guy pops off and then slides out and lets some pins go that the springs are pushing on. It's not an easy process, so we'll just stop at the partial gut showing, all these working setups. And the reason for that play is just, even if we set it in here right now, there's a little bit of side-to-side movement. But once every wafer is set and gets down, then you finally get that open. It's kind of interesting to look at how they cut them too. So this one, for example, has got a little bit of a ramp going up, kind of acts a little bit more tapered, whereas this guy has got a much sharper ramp, a very hard stop. So initially it is actually, if you look at it when it's in there, it is able to actually touch both the thick part and the thin part. So multiple taps are needed, just like a tapered setup would be in pins. There's some that, this one's got a little bit of an undercut, which is like a bit of a serration. So you get interesting feedback, and because of the different size cuts and stuff, as you pick it, it rotates more and more, which makes it a lot of fun to pick. Very cool design, very simple yet decently secure. These little guides do fall out too, which is where the wafers sit in when it's locked. So they sit just like this, and there's a decent amount of play no matter which wafer stack is currently there. So the play is built in, however it actually adds to the picking difficulty of the lock. Neat little design, cool little lock. Highly recommend you pick one of these up. They're fairly cheap to find on the aftermarket, and even I think brand new they're pretty decent price. So fun lock to pick. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you later.